making headlines. The Foreign Ministry states that Maldives will be participating in the 56th meeting of UNHCR. The Homeland Minister says that the reduction of the age of criminal responsibility in the Maldives is aimed at treating children. And the Tourism Minister announces that Maldives will welcome its 1 million tourist of the year later in June.
Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. Ministry of Foreign Affairs states that the Maldives will be actively participating in the 56th meeting of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees UNHCR. The meetings and sessions have already commenced and will continue till July 12th. The Foreign Ministry affirmed that Maldives will partake in the meetings and sessions of UNHCR and submit statements on its efforts in the field of human rights enforcement. As such, the Maldives will be attending the meeting of Small Island Developing States (SIDS) to explore and seek technical assistance in the changes and impacts of climate change. The nation will also participate in discussions pertaining to measures to be implemented to increase the participation of women and ensure the provision of equal opportunities in representing countries at international standards. Additionally, the Maldives will also participate in the core group meeting to discuss the provision of opportunities, allowing judges and lawyers to work independently. The meetings will be attended by the Ambassador of the Maldives to the United Nations in Geneva, Dr. Salma Rashid, and a team of high-profile dignitaries. Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hussain says that the reduction of the age of criminal responsibility in the Maldives is aimed at treating children rather than punishing them.
In an exclusive interview with PSMNEWS, Minister Hussain emphasized the importance of early identification and treatment of children vulnerable to crime as a key measure to address issues. He noted that while the current age of criminal responsibility in the Maldives is over 15 years, the government has decided to lower it to 12 years. The decision, he said, has sparked concerns on social media about potentially creating a generation of criminals. Additionally, Minister Hussain highlighted that extensive investigations in the first 6 months of the year have been conducted to identify children involved in criminal environments. He outlined 2 primary solutions to prevent children from engaging in crime, which is treating individuals currently involved and reintegrating them into society and preventing their recruitment into gangs. He pointed out that gangs often target children aged 12 to 15 because they are not held accountable for crimes. Furthermore, Minister Hussain announced the government's plan to develop a special island dedicated to identifying and treating children from criminal environments. He stated that the Social Council has approved the concept and it is set to be submitted to the cabinet in the future. Responding to political criticisms, Minister Hussain argued that it is not productive to critique policies implemented in a short period after a 5-year term, especially when previous administrations failed to introduce proper reforms.
Minister of Tourism Ibrahim Faisal announces that the Maldives will welcome its 1 millionth tourist of the year later in June. He made the statement during an exclusive interview with PSMNEWS.
The government is making significant efforts to boost tourism and has set a goal of attracting 2 million tourists this year. Speaking to PSMNEWS, Minister Faisal expressed confidence in meeting the target, citing current projections that anticipate 2.1 to 2.2 million tourists by the end of the year. He also highlighted that over 900,000 tourists have already visited the Maldives so far, with the 1 millionth expected by the end of June. The latest statistics released from the Ministry of Tourism reveals that as of June 10th, 932,398 tourists have visited the Maldives, marking a 9.6% increase compared to the same period last year, which saw 850,794 tourist arrivals. Currently, the Maldives welcomes an average of 3,650 tourists daily. If this trend continues, the 1 million tourist is likely to arrive on June 28th or 29th.
The Ministry of Social and Family Development announces the launch of a special program called Ufaweri Rasta at the Home for People with Special Needs in Gurado, Kafatol.
The initiative aims to familiarize 60 senior citizens in state care with the community and enhance their awareness. The program includes informational sessions combined with social activities. Its primary goal is to help elderly residents become more acquainted with the community and provide them with knowledge on maintaining health. During the session held on June 19th, participants received guidance on daily exercises, good nutrition, mental health, and sustaining active lifestyle habits as older adults. The sessions are led by professionals from various fields including nurses and social workers. The ministry is implementing programs to strengthen the connection between individuals in state care and their families, ensuring they receive the necessary support. The initiative aims to facilitate the transfer of elderly individuals to family care, providing families with state assistance. The government is also making efforts on developing social centers for senior citizens across the country to promote their participation in society.
The Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC, the contractor for Moli Airport, announces efforts to expedite construction and begin services promptly.
The project has faced delays primarily due to pending dredging work necessary for the airport's completion. The Mimatol Airport Development Project began in August 2021 with an initial completion target set for mid-2023. However, delays have pushed the expected completion to mid-2024. MTCC said that the runway, taxiway and terminal work are finished, with 90% of the overall construction completed. The remaining delay is attributed to the incomplete dredging of the area surrounding the runway, requiring an additional 14 hectares of land to be dredged. The company is prioritizing the start of the remaining dredging operations, which had been temporarily halted due to the changes in the project's scope. With reauthorization now in place, MTCC is accelerating these efforts and is in discussions with the Ministry of Construction and Infrastructure regarding timeline adjustments to ensure prompt project completion. Regarding the project, Managing Director of Regional Airports Company Limited (RACL), Ahmad Mubin, said that the recruitment for airport staff is underway in preparation for the airport's opening. He said that the hiring process will commence soon, with the new employees receiving 3 months of training. Additionally, Mubin emphasized the need for specialized training for airport staff, noting that preparations for recruitment announcements are in progress. He also said that training should begin 3 to 4 months before the airport's opening to avoid the necessity of transferring employees from other airports.
The Housing Development Corporation HDC announces the continuation of the land reclamation project in Hulumale Phase 3. It previously issued a directive mandating the removal of safaris within the coastal vicinity of the reclaimed land as safety measures. The Hulumale Phase 3 land project commenced in September 22, 2023, progressing in 3 phases. As such, reclamation of Site A has been completed, with reclamation on Site B initiated in October. A total of 10 hectares of land has been reclaimed in Site A and 26 hectares of land will be reclaimed at Site B. Currently, 13 hectares have been dredged in Site B. HDC stated that the project had previously halted due to the issue of coral bleaching as issued by the Environmental Protection Agency. It further disclosed that when the project was halted, 16 hectares from the Site B and 24 hectares from Site C were yet to be reclaimed. Highlighting the completion of the preparations to resume the project, HDC stated that some vessels within the coastal vicinity of the reclaimed land of Hulumale Phase 3 was still not removed. It added that this would challenge the works of the land reclamation project. It issued a directive stating that the entry of land-in crafts into the dredging area causes significant damages to safaris, noting that dangerous incidents have occurred. The Housing Development Corporation HDC commences the removal of the remaining huts and objects placed by private individuals for beach development in Hulumale Phase 2. Despite the order of the corporation to remove of the structures June 15th, several individuals still continue to conduct commercial activities in the outlets. This includes small outlets such as snack carts, coffee stalls, food huts and other similar setups which were not issued permits by HDC. HDC affirmed that the removal of these outlets is part of a broader beach development plan further aimed at enhancing these areas with the necessary resources and infrastructure. It said that the second phase of the beach area will be developed with the space and facilities for small businesses. Furthermore, HDC shed light on the persistent complaints that have been received regarding the unplanned placement of these huts. In response, HTC is taking steps to revitalize the beach areas by introducing new resources and ensuring compliance with new regulations once the facilities are introduced. Kanditimo Island Council establishes a cultural center, Kandisaro, which showcases the history of Kanditimo Shaviani Atoll.
Speaking to PSM News, President of Kanditimo Council, Ahmad Ahsan, disclosed that the initiative of establishing a center to showcase the island's history attained the support of many islanders. He stated that the center was established with the collaborative efforts of the youth, history teachers, and the council. The collection of cultural and traditional items of the island started initially approximately 5 years ago. However, due to the items placed within a small structure that was also utilized as a pharmacy, it proved to be challenging for visitors to observe the items. Kandisaro was developed in a building which was previously used as a mosque. The History Center is now spacious and has the capacity to accommodate several visitors interested in exploring the history of the island. In addition to cultural items, documents and scripts related to the items as well as the island's history will be showcased. Council President Ahsan revealed that all cultural items were over 50 years old and information on the items will be displayed. Despite the center opening in Eid, Ahsan stated that the center will be opened in fixed times. He said that the council will announce the days and times in which the center will be kept open. President of Kanditimo Council Ahsan emphasized the priority of the council and the residents of the island to teach the culture and heritage of the island and to ensure the intergenerational transmission of the traditions. Information on the island's culture and traditions will also be provided to guests visiting the island.
Nebraska business leaders say that it is apparent that the state will not be able to meet its workforce needs without more immigrants.
The North Carolina-based Economic Leadership Group was commissioned by the research arm of the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce and Industry to assess the state's economic competitiveness. The Nebraska Chamber Foundation's immigration report will help set the stage for what is described as a groundbreaking June 25th event in Fremont, the Nebraska Immigration and Workforce Summit. Chamber leaders say they plan to distribute the findings to conference participants, policymakers, and others. The consultant group in turn produced a trio of reports. One examined how Huskers stack up among peer states in an array of areas. Another zeroed in one of the manufacturing industry, and the third looked at the immigration as it relates to Nebraska's workforce. In all three studies, which included focus groups and interviews, immigration surfaced as the top solution to fill the state's workforce gap and ward of economic decline. According to the researchers, Nebraskans who provide feedback overwhelmingly consider the current federal system that regulates immigration as broken, and they're concerned the topic of immigration has become toxic and confusing. Chamber President Brian Sloan said that the economic leadership team was brought in to bring non-partisan data-driven information and analysis. He called the workforce shortage one of the state's largest impediments to growth and opportunity. Nebraska's immigrant foreign-born population works in a variety of jobs. In its 36-page report analyzing immigration and the workforce, the consulting team acknowledged that a labor shortage is troubling to states nationwide, but it dug into why Nebraska stands out in its workforce woes. The report stated that claiming one of the country's highest labor force participation rates and one of the lowest unemployment rates, the Husker state consistently lists well over 50,000 job openings. The team additionally said that bold action is necessary as demographic trends point into a continued insufficient supply of domestic and Nebraska-born workers.
The Israeli army says plans for an offensive in Lebanon were approved and validated amid escalating cross-border clashes with Hezbollah and in Gaza fighting.
The war in Gaza has heightened tensions across the region, with Israeli forces and Lebanon's Iran-backed Hezbollah, a Hamas ally, exchanging fire on a near-daily basis. The army said in a statement that operational plans for an offensive in Lebanon were approved and validated. It came after Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz threatened Hezbollah's destruction in a total war. The latest warnings came after Israel announced at the weekend a daily pause of military activity in Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah to facilitate aid flows coinciding with the Muslim Al-Ha Eid holiday. In central Gaza, witnesses reported gunfire and artillery shelling near the refugee camp, where the Civil Defense Agency said at least 13 people were killed in 2 separate strikes on a family home and a commercial building. Al-Awda Hospital said it received the bodies of 6 martyrs and 15 wounded as a result of Israeli airstrikes on various areas in the central and southern Gaza Strip. Witnesses and the Hamas government media office said that there are some strikes and fighting elsewhere in northern and central Gaza. In a statement, the Israeli army said its operations continued in central and southern Gaza, including Rafah city, on the border with Egypt. In a message for Al-Ha'id, US President Joe Biden has called for the implementation of a ceasefire plan he outlined last month, saying it was the best way to end the violence.
The president of the French Football Federation says the France players at Euro 2024 are free to express their views on the political situation in the country, even if the organization would remain neutral.
Triple F chief Philippe Diallo told reporters at the French team's European Championship base in Western Germany that he had always guaranteed that the players would have freedom of expression despite the principles of the Triple F emphasizing avoiding political or religious debates and remain neutral. Diallo's comments came after France captain Kylian Mbappe and his teammate Marcus Thuram spoke out in recent days about upcoming parliamentary elections in the country, which could see the far-right National Rally become the biggest party. Thuram called on French voters to fight to stop the far-right coming to power in the snap elections, the first round of which will take place on June 30th and the second round on July 7th. Mbappe spoke out against extremes and divisive ideas but did not explicitly speak in favor of any party ahead of the elections, but he did defend Thuram, saying he had not gone too far with his comments. He said that the country needs to identify with the values of diversity and tolerance, hoping to make the right decision. Diallo said it was not his responsibility to police the players and direct them as to what to say. He said that it is not up to him to restrain the players if they wish to express themselves when it comes to subjects that matter to their generation. He added that France team belongs to all the French people, stating that he does not want them to be used by anyone. France began their Euro 2024 campaign by beating Austria 1-0 on Monday, a game in which Mbappe suffered a broken nose.
Chinese EV maker Xpeng's affiliate, Xpeng Aero HT, flies its latest experimental drone car during a short test flight on June 18th.
The 2-seater intelligent electric vehicle called the Voyager X2 performed a vertical takeoff and landing in Langfang City in Hebei province, watched by scores of spectators. It aimed to demonstrate what the future of transportation could look like in China. Xpeng flight engineer Li Chengzheng revealed that the car product with its current capabilities can fly for 25 minutes with a maximum speed of 130 kilometers per hour after the test flight with just under 2 minutes. According to Aero HT, test flights does not involve passengers sitting in the car, which weighs 680 kilograms on its own with a payload of 160 kilograms. The model is intended for short travels within a city area and carries green credentials, with the company claiming that the model does not emit carbon dioxide during flight. Lee said that the flying car's unique appeal lies in its ease of use, as a person can learn to operate it after about an hour of training. The engineer added that the car can be operated both autonomously and manually, stating that it is very simple to operate. Lee further said that the public response for the product has been really good and positive. As for when it will be made available to the public, Aero HT's representatives, including Lee, remained coy before clarifying that X2 is an iterative product that is not intended for sale to the public but purely for technical refinements and improvements.
That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.
ಬಾಕಿ ಅಮಿಲ್ಲವಂತಕಮ್ಗೆ ರಂಜು ಎಬ್ಬಾವಂತಕಮ್ಗೆ ವಾಫ ಅದಿ ಕೌಮಿಯತ್ಗೆ ಅಸಾಸ್ ಬಹಗುಳೆ ಮೌಲುಮಾತಕಿ ಹಮ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮೀಹಕವಿಸ್ ಎಂಗೆಂಜೆ ಅಸಾಸಿ ಬೈ
ದಿವೆಹಿ ಕೌಮಿಯತ ಮಿಹಾರ್ ವರಬ್ಬೊಡ ಫೆಂಬುವಾಗನ್ ಫೊ ಸಮಾನೆಂ ಇಂಗೇತು
ದಿವಿ ಬಸ್ ಉಫೆದಿಫವಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಮಾದರಿ ಬಸ್ ಕುರಿಯರುಮ ಕುರವಿದಾಣೆ ಕಂತತ್ತ ಅದಿ ದಿವಿ ಬಹುಗೆ ಫುಣ್ಣಾ ಬೋಸ್ ಪೇಫ್ಲುಂಗೆ ವಣವರ್
ಅಳುಗ ದೇವನಿ ಬಸ್ ನೆತಿಗನ್ ದಾಣ ಈ ಲಫ್ಜು ಹಿತ ಗೆನವನಿ ಬಹಂಗ ಲೋಯ್ಬೆಗ್ ಬೊಡು ಕಪುಂಗೆ
ಈಹಕ ಮಿಸಾಲಕಂ ಅಮಿಲ್ಲಾ ಮೆಹಂ ವಿದಾಳ ಭಾಷೆ ಬೊಣಿಮತ್ ದೆನ್ ಅಳುಗೊಂಡ ಮನ ಬಿವಾಗತಕಿ ಆ ವಿದಾಳವಣಿಯೆ ಎಹಂ ಬೊಣೆವೆನಿ ಏಕಮೊಕ ಹಗೀಗತುಗೆ ಎತಂ ಕೊಳ ಬದಲು ಕೊಲ್ಲಂಜೆ ಹೆನ ಮಿ ದನ್ನವನಿ ಮಿಹೆನ್ನೆ ದೆಂ ಬೊಣಂ ವಾಣಿ
ಕೌಮಿಯತುಗೆ ವಿಂದು ಜಹನಿ ಬಹಾ ಸಕಾಫತಾ ಆದಕಾದಾಗೆ ವಿಂದು ಹುರಿ ಹಶಿಗಣಿಕ ಎ ಹಶಿಗಂಡ ಬೇನುವ ವಿಜಾ ದಮ್ಮರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮು
ದಿವಹಿಂಗೆ ಕುಳಿ ಹೊರಬಿಂದು
ಅವಳಮೆನ್ನಕಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಹಿಂಗುಮ ಹಿಂಗುನ್ ತೆರೆಯ ವನ್ನಾನೆ ಬಯನ್ನು
ವಾಲಿಬಾಲಾಗ ಮಿದೇತಿರೇಕ ಮಸ್ಸುವೆಗೆ ಎದಿಯ ಗೊತ್ತಕಿ ಅಳವಣೆ ಕಂಬಡುವಂತ ಅಳವಣೆ ವಾಹದ ಕಣ ಮೇಜರ್ ನೆತಿಗೆ
ಎಮ್ಮೆನ್ ಗುಳಿಗೆನ್ನೆ ಕುರಂಜೇನಿ ಏಗ ತೆರೆಗ ಹಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರವೆಸ್ ಗುಳಿಗೆನ್ ನುಣಿಯ ಕಮಿಕಮೆನ್ನು ಕೊಡವೆ ನಸೆಂಬರ ಒಳಗೊತ್ತು
ಕುಳಿವರುಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫೋಗೆ ಮೌಲು ಮಾತು ಅವನು ಮುಂದೆಸಕ
ಹಿಂಗಾಫ ಗೊಸ್ಸ ವಲು ತೆರೆ ಗೊಸ್ಸ ಅನಫರದ್ ಫುಟ್ಟರುಗ ಮುಬಾರಕ್ ಬಾಬಾ ಮೀ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಫೆನೆ ಫಾಹನ ಕುರುමුಗೆ ಎವ್ವಿಸ್ ಇಂತಿಜಾಮ್ ಮೆನ್ನೆತ್ ಅಂತ
ඒගමානයක ෆෙඩරේෂන් වෙස් කෝචුවස් අධි අලුගඩුවස් දිෆා කෝරන් මේ මස්සෙක්ක ෆටරාෆි ෆටහ ඉරාදුකෆිය ඇති කාන්වවි
පයි